and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Side to Side Sportscast, where it's your boys, Will and Wudi, and you already know we come back to break it on down from the court side, the ring side, the sidelines, and for those sports they play outdoors, we outside, we side to side. That's how we ride. And today we riding in a special way because those of you that have been side to side from the beginning of the ride, you know that we've had all types of sports fans come on from all types of places, from Miami to LA to diehard New York fans to sports players and sports analysts have all come on the Side to Side Sportscast. But today we're doing something special. We have two, not one, but two, three-time returning guest on the Side to Side Sportscast. It is a first time ever. So while we come back, Wudi and I had some UPTO. It was definitely unpaid time off, right? And we back in the building right now to have a good time. So first up, allow me to reintroduce to you our guy, Nick Fry. Nick, what up?
We're 5-1. That's what's up. Let's go. Can you believe it? I can't believe it.
Last time we talked, man, we were clowning the Giants, but the Giants ain't wearing that clown nose right now. They pumping, man. Our guy, Nick Fry, man. Welcome. And also bringing back to the stage, it's our boy, the mighty Vesuvius.
Oh, yeah. Flash that V, fellas.
What's up, man?
Flash that V.
What's
and a V for victory
buddy?
for my friend over on this side. Whoop, that side. Side to side.
I was struggling with throwing up the V, but
yeah, that
Vesuvius was doing bang, right? Yeah. The wrestler himself, also a fan of the New York Giants. So, ladies and gentlemen, I am cornered by New York, the Empire State itself. We got Wudi representing Gang Green, right? I'm pointing the wrong way, but we got Wudi representing Gang Green wearing that Sauce jersey.
Hey,
yes, I heard it, man. Sauce.
Not only
one of the best.
Your corner. You check those power rankings. You have 5, 6, and 7 is Giants, Cowboys, Jets.
I mean, we're all enjoying life right now. I gotta say,
all you're missing is a cheese head.
I must say, I'm not mad, right? But not only Wudi representing the Jets, but we got V and our guy Nick Fry representing the New York Football Giants. And I just want to start off with talking about the Giants. Now, as a Cowboys fan, I do marvel in the fact that we gave you that one and only L you got so far. But I'm not bragging because I didn't think you guys were for real. But you can't look, Brian Daboll is doing a remarkable job with this football team. Before the season, I thought you'd be lucky to win 5 games, and you got 5 wins in 6 weeks. So you got to shout out to the New York Giants right now. I want to hear from you guys. Hey, man, how does it feel? What are your thoughts about the way this is unfolding so far? Talk about it.
Go ahead, V.
All right, appreciate it, Nick. It feels nice as a season ticket holder. I'm in and out of that building all the time. Will and I tried to get together, but it just didn't happen to work out that night. But yeah, it feels pretty nice right now. Vegas had them winning. I think it was 7.5 wins, so we're well on our way right now. They weren't expected to be. I think that Titans was supposed to be a loss, and Ravens was supposed to be a rough game. But we're getting through right now, and it's coming down to coaching. And as a lot of people like to say, weeks 4 through 7, it's all about coaching. That's when your teams really get exposed. I'm feeling pretty good right now. Thibodeau actually he got a lot of pressures in a pretty short amount of time. It beat some record, but the record didn't make any sense to me. But I like what I'm seeing from him. Jones is doing Jones things. If it's not for Jones and Barkley, I don't know how far are we going. Richie James is our top receiver right now. Who saw that coming? None of us, because I didn't even see that in preseason. Maybe we'll see a little more from Sill. Wan'Dale Robinson's now on the map, and Bellinger coming ahead. And I just saw a recent interview with Gronkowski saying Daboll got the best out of Gronk. So I'm not saying he's Gronk, but I'm saying he's well coached right now.
Is it my turn?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I'm finally not embarrassed to be a Giants fan. It's been probably 6 years that I've had to hang my head low, be embarrassed about it, be not happy with the choices the organization's made. And I said it when I was on here last time that I said I wasn't happy with the team still, but I was happy with the organization. And I guess they're turning it around faster than I thought they would have. But I'm not ashamed to be a fan of the Giants anymore. And I look at like each week when they're playing and I see who they're going to play. And I'm like, oh, -5 or +5 against the Ravens. I'll take that. This week, though, we'll get into it a little bit later, but they're +3 in Jacksonville. And I think that's ridiculous. But I think Vegas knows something we don't, because that line is really fishy. That's like, I would have said Giants -3, and it's instead Giants +3. And usually when you get a line like that that's completely out of left field, it means stay away, because they know something we don't.
Those field goal games. They're just, I don't know if it's just because the Jaguars are at home. It's just like that's a pick 'em game. Anytime it's 3 or less, it's always a pick 'em game.
I mean, coaching. I think the NFL is the league where coaching makes the biggest difference. If we're talking about, Big Four type stuff. And Brian Daboll, he's that dude. He's that dude. If the early returns are saying anything, he is my pick, because this is no disrespect. I feel like the roster still does not compute to a 5-1 roster, but he just has those boys playing hard. It definitely does not hurt to have the rejuvenation of Saquon Barkley, who has not been Saquon Barkley. He actually looked more like Charles Barkley after the Monstars took his talent. Okay, he was getting swatted by the little girl on the basketball court. That's how Saquon has looked for the last 3-ish years. Now he's literally the number 1 running back in all of fantasy, and that he is the engine in which the Giants, run through. I feel like Giants fans are still not sold on Daniel Jones. I mean, I have one Giants fan text me and say that he thought that Daniel Jones was having a better season than Aaron Rodgers. I mean, there's people on that side of the spectrum. But I don't know. I don't know about Jones, but I know that Daboll has those boys working. And, they say, the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. Bruh, whatever Daboll is doing, I don't understand, because the roster, I don't know if the roster is 5-1. Oh, and last thing I want to say is Kenny Golladay he still cracks me up. All those memes, like what? How did this happen? How did this happen? Somebody who looked like he was a Pro Bowl receiver. What happened? So, but you guys, it doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter. Usually in a situation like that kills the team, but it literally doesn't matter. So kudos to Daboll to keeping that locker room in check.
Man, look, Daboll is the coolest fat man in New York since the notorious B.I.G. himself, man. You got to give Brian Daboll some credit. Just like you said, Wudi, the 5-1 record does not describe the roster. Like, if you roster versus record, what is really going on? But Daboll has his team playing inspired. They're playing tough defense. They're this all around. And what I really respect about Daboll the most is he is not that first game against the Titans when Daniel Jones almost threw an interception to seal the game. He got on his quarterback, right? Because he let his quarterback know that you let this entire team down, and we'll be lucky to get back in a situation to win. Next time Daniel Jones got the ball, he was engineering a drive to help everybody. I mean, Saquon had a good run, but he didn't turn the ball over. The Giants got out with that win. That team was inspired. He hasn't been as turnover prone as he's been in his career because Dable isn't putting him in situations that are risky. He's got him playing within himself. Daniel Jones is never going to be a drop back, launch it downfield quarterback. He's not going to be taking shots deep, but he's got the game plan to where it's still unpredictable and it keeps the Giants playing within their strengths. And at this point, I actually respect it. Giants fans, I was talking a lot of crap on my way out of the stadium when we beat you that night in New York, right? I was talking crap. Some feelings were hurt. I had fans. Like, I've been going to this game for the past 10 years, and it's always a good time in New York. It's not a bad time at all. But people were mean. You guys were hurt. Like, when we beat you, like, you guys thought that you were going 4-0, and you were just going to, like, wow, man, this is a good team. And then we reminded you. And I really think that a lot of you fans, after you lost to us, felt like you sucked. But you're back. You're awake again. You got fans telling Wudi that Daniel Jones is better than Aaron Rodgers this year. Like, you guys probably feel like if you lined up to play us this week, you would beat us. And I'm not even mad, right? I'm not mad because you guys have a lot of momentum. And I just want to look in the camera and say, New York, I respect you. And I'm glad the Giants are good again because it is not the same when the Giants are not the same. Now, speaking of New York, let's go from the NFC East over to the AFC East, Wudi. And let's talk about them boys in the green, the Jets, Jets. Let's talk about the Jets because I'm guilty, and you know it, Wudi. I clown you about the Jets all the time. In fact, after week 1, man, me and you cried together because the Cowboys got demolished and the Jets got demolished, and we was hurting, man. We was like, man, what we going to do? You know, how we going to eat? You know, how we going to eat? But, hey, y'all turned it around, man. Zach came back. You got 3 wins in a row, man. How are you feeling about the Jets right now?
I'm feeling real good. I got to say, actually, looking, Giants to Jets, there are a lot of similarities in the fact that, it's a stout defense, a defense that was underrated, right? But they're stopping guys. The last 2 wins specifically, we've been running. Oh, this boy Breece Hall has been emerging. And then some clutch quarterback play when it counted. I think those are where the similarities lie. But as a Jet fan, I mean, this is what Salah and Joe Douglas were talking about since the minute that Salah stepped in. He's a man of faith. He kept talking about faith, respecting the process, going through it. And my favorite part about this roster construction, we all know about the rookies, right? We had a great draft class. Everybody was talking about it. Even last year's draft class was definitely applauded. But we got different veterans, just underutilized veterans in almost every skill position, right? We got Laken Tomlinson on the line, right? A vet who played in the Super Bowl. Now with all those other young guys to kind of coach them up in the locker room. We have DJ Reed, who's played with Salah so many times. And now he is coaching up guys like Sauce Gardner and Michael Carter, and those guys, right? They have different, vets in different parts. Corey Davis is coaching, he's out here. He's a former 5th-round pick. He can definitely help Garrett Wilson, who's also a high draft pick, kind of adjust to the speed to the NFL. And I think we're seeing with those veterans strategically placed, amongst the roster, the rookies don't have the same rookie wall that, most of the other rookies do. I mean, our 4 top picks, Sauce, Breece, Garrett Wilson, and Jermaine Johnson have all made sizable impacts this season already. So I think that's a huge factor as well. The roster construction, Joe Douglas killed it, helped the rookies, and the rookies have hit the ground running. And yeah, I feel really good about the Jets, knowing that they're so young. We got all of our key players are under contract, under rookie contracts. I feel like we're killing it.
When it comes to the Jets, so all season long, they lose to Baltimore. I'm like, all right, they lost to Baltimore. Baltimore's a good team. They should have lost to Cleveland. The guys ran out of bounds. Guys going in the end zone. Then they lost to the Bengals, and I'm sitting here like, oh, this is another sucky season for the Jets. Then they barely beat Pittsburgh, and I'm like, oh, Pittsburgh sucks. Then they beat Miami, and I'm like, well, Miami didn't have Tua. Then they beat the Packers, and I'm like, well, Aaron Rodgers is not the same so far. Well, not really him, but the Packers as a whole. And then I realized half the teams in the league, more than half the teams in the league, quote unquote, suck. So you at some point you got to stop with the this, that. You're building up so many excuses. It's time to admit it. They're a good team now. You can't have an excuse for every team. Then they're going to beat Denver. And we're going to say, oh, but Russell Wilson's not the same. And they're going to beat the Patriots, and we're going to say, oh, but they didn't have Mac Jones, and Mac Jones isn't that great anyway when he does play. And next thing you know, they have 11 wins. And we're going to say, but they're not really good. Like, come on, Every team in the league has some sort of excuse, so you got to at some point just stop the excuses and say a win's a win.
Hey, man, I couldn't agree with you any more than that. You got to play who's on the schedule. It's not your fault. The name of the game is to win enough games to get to the playoffs, right? If you win those games, you're doing what you needed to do. It doesn't matter who's in, who's out. Every win breeds momentum. And I think for the Jets, they're inspired and they're believing right now because the season started off. And if this wasn't a together group, the way they lost the opening night, then they could have just been like, man, it's going to be another bad year, when they lost to Baltimore. But, hey, they came back and they've been fighting and they've been scratching and clawing and they've been winning these games to the point now that win in Green Bay, not many people were giving them a chance outside of, Talk Flight Nation, I guess I'll say, right? Take Flight Nation, my bad. Not many people were giving them a chance to beat Green Bay. I'm not going to lie. I thought Green Bay would make Swiss cheese out of them. But, hey, cheese is on Green Bay's head, like you would expect anyway. And they went into Green Bay at Lambeau and came out with the W. And you could say Green Bay is not what they used to be, but it doesn't matter. They still have a legend at quarterback, and it can turn on just like that. The fact that the Jets didn't let them get back together on their watch, that's a big victory right there. So, like you said, Nick, you got to stop with the excuses, man, and you got to respect what's being done. I'm with you on that.
Yeah, you are what your record says you are, as Bill Parcells said. And you can't escape it. I mean, I was looking at the rankings today. Got 10 through 32. I don't know what's going on there. There's a lot of problems. And you know what? That sounds like a them problem. It's not an us problem, right? I mean, you got to go out there and get your business done. Yeah, the Jets they're surprised. Yeah, Breece Hall. Oh my God, this guy. I was just like, I heard Jets fans, some friends of mine, they said they were crying. They were so happy. I never heard them say they cried in their entire lives. And these guys have kids, got married, and stuff. And it's their first time they're saying they're crying because they're so happy. It was just like, you probably shouldn't say that. Or don't let your wife hear it. I'm not sure who. I guess Corey Davis is the WR1 right now. I was thinking, was it going to be Elijah Moore? Was he going to get that connection with Wilson again? But who cares? You got three guys that can all go out there and run routes, help you win the game. And Sauce Gardner, man, that guy can play.
Man, he's like Revis is back, man. Like,
yeah,
sauce sticks to you. That's some sticky sauce right there. Some sticky sauce. And let's talk about the AFC overall. There's only 4 teams with 4 wins out of the 16 teams, right? So the Jets are in some good shape right now. If they can keep the momentum going. And then the Giants being 5-1 are, one of the top 3 teams record-wise in the entire NFL right now. So, like, New York is looking good. I seen the Statue of Liberty crying once before. Like last year, the Statue of Liberty couldn't take it no more during football season. It's like, man, why we suck so much? But, hey, man, that torch is lit right now. And we're going to see what's going on. So I want to ask you fellas, New York faithful, right? Who's better right now? Who do you expect in this season to finish better? The Jets or the Giants? No bias. Try not to be.
I'll start. I think that the Giants are better in an organizational standpoint, and the Jets are better on the field. I think the Jets have a better team than the Giants. They're more talented than the Giants. but the Giants have the better front office with their new GM. And I think they have the advantage in the coaching. So I think it's kind of in the middle because, like I said, I think the Jets are better on the field, but I think the Giants are better in the other aspects of the game.
Okay.
Damn. Well, that was a very neutral answer, and it's actually I actually can agree. I agree. I think the Jets have the better roster. Like if I'm playing Madden, I think I would prefer to be the Jets. But I mean, what Joe Shane has done and Dable. I mean, Dable is my pick for Coach of the Year, and I have a coach that is doing some work right now. But I really like what Dable is doing, and what I'll say is a huge difference between what I've seen so far with Dable and what I've seen with Robert Saleh. All right, this is Saleh's second year. Here he came in last year, right? He didn't want to. He didn't even want to look at Sam Darnold. Ship them off. Right? We had a second round draft pick in Denzel Mims, who actually looked pretty good that rookie year. Didn't even see the field. For Saleh. I mean, Saleh, that regime has been extremely picky with who they want. Right? They've had disgruntled players that they've let go because he didn't want to use guys that weren't his guys. Now he quickly replaced them with guys like DJ Reed and Tomlinson, people that have played with Saleh before and were happy to join. But their entire first season was the square peg in the round hole, and as a result, they picked top 5 in the NFL draft. Dable is working with that question mark, Jones. He's working with Saquon. He's working with pretty much the same roster. You guys had a great draft. Right, so there are, Evan Neal's out here, Kayvon Thibodeau. I'm not even gonna lie. When we drafted Sauce, I was heated that we didn't get Thibodeau because that's what I wanted. But I mean, now it's cool. I got the jersey. But for Dable, I think Dable is way better at cooking that secret sauce. No matter what's in the Saleh, is out here just trying to, stick to his grandma's recipe and nothing else. So I'm going to go with the New York Giants for this year. I think Dable, he's the better coach.
Interesting. What do you say, V?
All right. There's a few things. Right now, I think the Jets have the better defense. The Giants have the better run game. I'm not really sure about the Giants receivers right now. So the Jets have the better receivers right now. Quarterback, and I like to think Dable has the better coach. I like that both teams seem to have a plan that's going. It's just the Giants. They seem very motivated. In past years, they weren't hungry enough. They weren't going after balls like they were supposed to, punching it, trying to get a stop or get a turnover somehow. They keep surprising me. It's surprising me. That's a rough. Right, I'm sorry. I gotta go with my Giants. I believe that they're gonna have a good season. Hey. I mean, we keep going to these rough games, and I just keep coming out. I mean, we're a third way through the season. We got 2/3 to go. We still got one more game against buddy Will up here. By the way, I'm very happy that you got out of that stadium alive, unhurt.
It was actually pretty crazy.
After you telling me that, I felt like I should have been walking next to you and I could talk to you guys. It's okay. It's all right. Look at the jersey. He's gonna talk like this.
I could have used you, man. I could have used you. I'm with him.
Speaking of Denzel Mims, actually, I read today that the Cowboys might actually be interested in signing him.
Oh, I'm actually been anticipating that since the offseason.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've been hoping that that they do a trade. It's just a matter of giving up. The Jets want a 4th round pick, and Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones want to give up no more than a 6th round pick. That's just the type of terrible front office people they are. But we're not going to talk about that. Who do I think is better this year? It's tough. I'll tell you what. I hate to say it, but I'm actually going to give my answer, and then I want to answer my next question first, and I want to hear your answer. But I honestly think the Giants are a better football team this year. And not because of the roster. I feel like the Jets have a better roster this year. If they were playing each other, I would actually pick the Jets to win, to be honest with you. But they don't play each other. They play who's on the schedule. And I think the Jets have more of an uphill battle right now. Just the fact that they still got 2 games against the Buffalo Bills. The Patriots is always a tough game. And, a lot of these other games are winnable. They got the Dolphins again. I'm not sleeping on the Jets. I'm not doing it anymore. I've seen a team. All you need to do is show me. I don't care how many stars you have. If you're a team that fights, you're a team that has a chance to win. That's one thing. That's why football is my favorite sport, because you can try to acquire all the stars you want to. If them stars ain't fighting, they going to take as many L's and then they're going to be called a bust, right? But when you get a team that's fighting every week, which the Jets are, that's a team that can beat you. So even though I say the Giants are better this year, I do not think that they're better overall than the. I just think that it's hard. You got to play the Bills twice. One of those Patriots games is going to be crazy. I just expect the Giants to end up with a better record than the Jets. Now, who's going to be better over the next 5 years? To me, it's the Jets. And to me, in my opinion, is not even a question, because the Jets more than likely have who they're going into 5 years with as the quarterback. I'm not saying he's like, give him a contract right now. He's only in the second year. But hey, man, him winning these 3 games coming off of injury, this is the Zach Wilson experience that you're hoping for. He's gaining that experience right now. His momentum is trending, where even though Daniel Jones did okay, it's still a question mark as to whether or not he is the quarterback. And all it takes is a losing streak. The Giants lose 2 or 3 games in a row, Daniel Jones must go. That's going to be the headlines, right? They will turn on him mighty fast. So I just don't think the Giants have that answered yet, but they do have the right personnel in the front office, as my guy Nick Fry said. So I do trust in that they'll kind of make this thing not go backwards. But I just think the Jets are going to be a better team consistently over the next 5 years, because they have that influx of young, good talent. You got your cornerstone corner. That is a big part of a defense. You've got a young pass rush. You've got a young quarterback. You've got a line. I mean, let's talk about our guy, Wudi, who can play any position on the offensive line, and he just got here. He's already one of the best players in the NFL. That's the type of guy you want to go to war with every week. Those young guys, they're together. I actually think it's going to help them bring in more free agents. They're just going to be able to continue to build their team. So I think the Jets over the next 5 years are in a better situation.
I have a lot of things to get off my chest about the Giants that I've been waiting to say for like 20 minutes. Maybe longer. So what makes me not embarrassed to be a fan anymore of the Giants is I was embarrassed when they were under the old regime, because they were under a regime that literally openly mocked computers and analytics with Judge and Gettleman and kneeling on your own 9-yard line. They were the laughingstock of the NFL. They definitely were. They had questionable choices in free agency I liked it at the time with Kenny Galladay. I thought the move was great, but it didn't work out. He signed Jonathan Stewart to a 2-year guaranteed contract in his first thing. But Gettleman's gone. That's fine. Judge is gone. That's fine. But the analytics that they use now, that Joe Shane uses, that Brian Dable uses, are what's getting them some wins. People don't seem to remember. Game 1, week 1, the Giants were down 20-19. They went for 2, and they got it, and they won the game. That got them the win. They go to overtime in Tennessee. You think they're winning that game? I don't think so. And speaking of the analytics, the number 1 Pro Football Focus ranked offensive lineman in the NFL this year is Andrew Thomas. That's a good job on Gettleman. I can't hate him all. He made that pick. I can't hate everything he did, but he made that pick. And you know what? As good as Barkley's doing this year, I got to give a lot of credit to Thomas. I mean, if how good do you need to be so when you get the ball, You get a handoff, and you're 4 yards behind the line of scrimmage when you get that handoff. If there's 3 guys right in front of you, they're defensive ends, 270 pounds, I don't care how good you are, you're not gaining more than -1 yards. So the fact that he has holes to run in now is helping him a ton. It's helping him stay healthy. It's turning him into the player he should have been the last couple of years that he couldn't be because they had no linemen around him, and now they do. So that's helping him tremendously. And then my last thing is with Jones. I don't think Daniel Jones is their answer at quarterback. But then again, who are they going to get? Literally 23 of the 32 teams, their quarterbacks are terrible. The league has turned into an enormous amount of parity where there really are any game could go either way. These spreads at every week are extremely slim. There's a couple outliers each week. Like whenever the Bills play, it's -10. The Bucks are -10 this week. I think they're playing the Panthers, like stuff like that. But all these games are extremely close, and it's because the parity is crazy. And what team? So here are the top 4 quarterbacks this year, in no particular order. There's Josh Allen, there's Mahomes, there's Jalen Hurts, and there's in fantasy I'm talking, and Lamar Jackson. Number 5, I don't even know who it is. It might be Jared Goff. I think it is
Geno Smith, maybe.
It could be Geno Smith too.
That's
But like
crazy.
my point is that the maybe Justin Herbert. He had a bad game though on the Monday night, so maybe not anymore. But whole point I'm trying to make is, yeah, Daniel Jones may not be the answer, he may not be good enough to lead them to the Super Bowl, but who is available and who's out there? They're gonna at the end of the season, his contract is up. Same with Barkley, so it's gonna be interesting what they do there. But Daniel Jones' contract's over. What do? Do you go and sign Marcus Mariota? Is he better than Daniel Jones? Is he the same? Is he worse? If you're not going to get Lamar Jackson, who is a possibility because he's having contract issues in Baltimore, then why not keep Jones? I may not like him as the answer, but why not keep him? And then with Barkley, his contract's running out. The Giants are 5-1 right now. They got games against Jacksonville, Seattle, Detroit, and Houston coming up. I'm not going to jump ahead here, but 9-1 is possible. 7-3 is possible. 5-5 is possible. All those teams are better than we thought they were going to be going into the season. I think if the Giants are 9-1 at that point, they're obviously all in. 8-2, obviously all in. 7-3, I think they're all in. But I think if they're 6-4, even 5-5, I wouldn't be shocked if they dealt Barkley. Because if they're not going to sign him long term, what's the point? What's the point? Before the season, the Giants were looking for a 5th-round pick for Barkley. They couldn't get it. They could not get it.
Crazy. That's crazy.
That's unbelievable.
Now the Giants could probably get Devin Singletary at a 2nd. And you know what? If you're not going to sign Barkley anyway, then why not? I mean, he's a fantastic player. Does it get much better than him? Not really, but he's going to be 26 next season, which sounds so young to us because unfortunately we are older than 26. But like in the NFL years, that's not young anymore. It's not. It's sad to say, but
Not
it's
for a
true.
running back.
It's not young for running back anymore. I can't see unless you're Adrian Peterson. Like we look at Melvin Gordon, and I'm like, oh God, this guy's been in the league forever. He's younger than me. He's not even 30, and I'm looking at him like, oh my God, this guy's been in the league forever. So would I be okay if they signed Barkley long term? Yes, but at the same time, I would understand it if they were to get a good package for him to deal him, because if he's not going to be there and you're not going to sign him to a long-term contract, then you might as well get something for him.
Well, I hear you, man. And so with that said, do you think over the next 5 years, because you made some key points about the Giants and what they could possibly do roster-wise going forward, you trust your front office, do you think they'll be better than the Jets over the next 5 years?
So first off, 5 years I think is outlandish statement, because 5 years ago they still had Eli. They didn't even have they don't think they have one player on their team they had 5 years ago. I don't think.
That's true.
Could be wrong. Maybe Sterling Shepard. He's probably the only guy.
Yeah.
So looking forward 5 years from now, you hope that changes. You hope you have some longevity. If they don't have Andrew Thomas in 5 years, it means something went really wrong, right? So I would think, though, in 5 years, if the Jets have more talent, so I would have to give it to the Jets. But it's such a long time period that they could have Bryce Young next year, their quarterback, and 4 years from now, and he could already be a 2-time MVP, or they could still have Daniel Jones, and we could be saying every year, I don't think he's the answer. I don't know.
Yeah, right. That's the unique thing about the question is because both teams, like neither team is like aging. Both teams are sprouting, and like who's really sprouting the right way. So, hey, man, I take your answer. V, what do you see?
Yeah, it made a lot of good points there. We'll have to see because 5 years. Yeah, who knows? Like a lot of times, like when guys get like drafted, like you don't know what they're going to be until 5 years from now because people like love these draft picks, and all of a sudden 2 years in they suck. It's like and they're like they set your team back. Like you have a bad draft, yeah, it's going to sting for a few years. Like it's not like your whole team's going to suffer because of it. When Allen came into the league, he didn't exactly have a great first season. Jones has been around, but he's also been injured. So, I mean, he's doing a lot of stuff with his legs. He's throwing the ball around, but not like he's not like slinging it though. He's doing what he needs to win games, which is nice for us for right now. But long term, I don't know. I really need to see the rest of the year. Just right now, is he the answer? Who knows? There is a really good draft class, and every Giant fan I felt like going into the season was thinking this last year with Jones, and we're probably going to draft a quarterback wherever we need and do whatever we have to do to get the guy that we want. There's 5 quarterbacks supposed to be taken in the first round this year, so we'll see if that happens. And Barkley, like Fry was saying, I feel like he's good. He needs. I like him to be part of our game plan, but if we're gonna move on, we're gonna move on. Like I like to have him as having a nice run game and having a nice defense. That's Giants football. I feel like that's always what Giants football was. That's our identity. I like to think in 2008, I think that was like one of the first very successful committees. The Giants actually led the league in rushing with Jacobs, Bradshaw, Ward, the Earth, Wind, Fire combo there. But there's not too many successful committees. We got Barkley. We got some guys that I thought looked okay in the preseason, but who knows if they can, handle the reins like that. Like if Barkley comes out, I don't know. I don't know what our team looks like. I don't want Rashad Jennings back there again. I know that. There's a blast for the best name. Or No Gain Dane. Jeez.
Drones. The list goes on. Andre Brown.
Yeah. But for the 5 years from now, those Jets guys, they're looking nice right now. As much as I want to believe in our front seven, we need corners. I like what we're seeing from our safeties, but we're gonna need some corners eventually. I don't know. Adoree Jackson. Adoree Jackson. I don't. He is what he is. I kind of hate that Bradbury left and went to the Eagles, and he's their second best corner right now. That team is stacked.
Why did y'all let him go to Philly, man? I'm mad about that.
Maybe I should have kicked the door down and smacked him in the face. That's more my style. Actually, I like kicking people in the face.
Of course. Off the top rope.
But, yeah, it's right now the Jets are sitting a little prettier right now.
Well, okay, so we got 3 Jets. Now let's go to the Jet.
We're gonna make it 4 because
I didn't see that one coming.
Well, no, hey, I picked the Giants for the last question. I literally picked the Giants after the better years. So I'm calling it straight how I see it down the middle. But I think the contract situation and uncertainty is why I got to give it to the Jets. Joe Douglas, he gets a lot of credit in New York. I don't know how much credit he's getting around the league, but what he's done with this roster that was number 1 in dead cap. We were just paying we were paying Tremaine Johnson who wasn't playing. We were paying Livy. We were just paying all these people. He got rid of all that dead cap space. Now we have the least dead cap in the NFL. So the flexibility that we have moving forward. I mean, we're gonna be looking like Gabby Douglas out there, Simone Biles with the flexibility. Like we can do anything that you need. And like with the rookies, like 5 years from now, I feel like there are a couple names that I would be really upset to not see. I mean, starting with this name that's on my back. Elijah Vera Tucker, like Will said, I think he's actually the best Jet on the whole team right now. Quentin Williams, he's actually due for an extension. We better pay that man this year. So there's a whole bunch. I mean, is Zach the guy? We don't know for sure. We'll try it out. But I feel like, Douglas is definitely that GM. He's fixed all of our financial problems, and he keeps finding these veterans that cost nothing but provide so much to the locker room. Like he keeps doing that. And then Salah, people believe in him. His players are fighting for him. They're scrapping. We were down 13 points with a minute, 57, and Flacco sucks, and we won the game. Like these people, they just don't give up on their coach. So I think for the next 5 years, with all that flexibility and all the promise and the foundation. Like we have a foundation. I feel like that's what it is. The Giants, they have a great front office, but how many, pieces on the roster are you going to say, are, the foundation for even the next 3 years? I feel like that's where the Jets have the edge, and that's why I'm taking them for the next 5 years.
Interesting. We all go Jets, Jets over the long run. But most of us feel like the Giants are the better team right now. So very interesting. Let's talk about something else other than New York teams, man. I'm about to spit up in my mouth, yo. Let's talk about, real quick, let's make this part really fast. Who is the biggest surprise team in the NFL? Now, most of you probably expect me to say the Dallas Cowboys. While to me, they are a surprise because when we lost the opening game against the way that loss looked, it looked like the season was over as soon as it began. They even had memes flying around saying that teams in the hunt, every team up there eliminated already the Cowboys, right? That's how it was. Cooper Rush comes in. Cooper Rush wins 4 straight games. 4 straight games. He wasn't overly impressive in any game. The defense was really impressive, and the Cowboys won. They lost to the Eagles. The Eagles were clearly the better team. It is what it is. But the Cowboys being 4-2. I am surprised. I'm surprised. But I am more surprised that the Minnesota Vikings are 5-1. And I'll tell you why. I mean, listen. They won the opener. I think they beat Green Bay. I didn't expect them to beat Green Bay, but hey, they did, and they beat them convincingly. I started to feel like, man, maybe they're a good team. I could see them going into Philly and win. They looked so bad against the Eagles. Kirk Cousins' favorite target was Darius Slay. He's lucky Slay didn't have 6 interceptions, aka receptions. He was just throwing them lollipops, right? He only got picked off a couple times, and they got dominated by the Eagles. And I was wondering, what were they doing? But then they responded to that with 4 straight wins. And it's not like they're dominant wins. These are impressive wins because they were losing to the Lions, came back and won. Losing to the Saints, came back and won. I mean, they were dominating the Bears, and the Bears almost came back and won, but they won. Right? They pulled it off. And then the win against the Dolphins. Now, even though the Dolphins were a little bit handicapped at quarterback, they won that 5th game. And they're 5-1. If you can win 5 out of 6 games, just like we talked about the Giants, you start off your season that way, you are in the driver's seat in a division that the Packers have owned for the most, a lengthy period of time. So, I don't know. I still don't even think the Vikings are good. That's why I'm surprised right now that they're the biggest surprise team to me. 5-1 Vikings. Wow.
I've been telling you about the Vikings for years, and I guess I've been seeming crazy because they haven't been great. But I'm glad they finally caught up. Shout out to O'Connell, the new head coach I think everybody on the offense loves playing with him or playing for him. At least that's what I've been hearing from Justin Jefferson, who is my greatest fantasy pick of this season. And yeah, no, Vikings are balling. I actually picked them to win the NFC North this season because I wasn't hyped on the Packers. I wasn't understanding why people were so high on them. But I was understanding why people were so high on the LA Rams because I was right there. All right, call me Snoop Dogg because I was high on the LA Rams. I was thinking Matthew Stafford was going to be the MVP, and he is like looking like one of the LVPs of the league. I mean, you want to talk about Super Bowl hangover? This is like, we better call Ed Helms because this is a real hangover. Like somebody is lost. All right, we gotta find somebody. Call Mike Tyson. Get a title. Like somebody is lost. All right, with these Rams, they just look. They look like no one cares. And like I heard the rumors, right? Sean McVay might retire. Aaron Donald might not come back. And I was like, what? Like, what are you talking? These guys are all young. Sean McVay, he's younger than me. Like, what are you talking about? Like all this stuff. And no, like I just don't see it. And of course, the O-line is banged up. Stafford's never been, Michael Vick or even Daniel Jones, who has legs. Like, like that's never been Stafford's game. And the O-line's a little banged up. But just to look this bad, to look this inept, like even Aaron Donald isn't like looking like Aaron Donald. The LA Rams and their struggles is definitely my biggest surprise of the season.
I think the Rams' struggles are really the line. I really think they have 5 new linemen from the Super Bowl. I think you had them all. I think that the offense figures it out. They're on the field more, keep the defense off the field, keeps them fresh. It's a domino effect. But so I don't think the Vikings are a good pick. So when thinking about this question, I thought to myself, besides the Giants and Jets, I don't see any team that's better than I thought they'd be. In at least like biggest. But the Vikings is a good point now that I think about it. But the team to me that's the most surprising would be the opposite, which is I like this question the way it's worded because we didn't know which one you meant. I like that. To me, it's got to be Denver. And I feel so bad, honestly, because I'm a huge Russell Wilson fan. Think he's the man, but they say let Russ cook. I think Russ is cooked. Sadly, they look awful. Their defense is actually awesome. Their defense has been phenomenal, but their offense is completely inept. Russell looks terrible. The line looks terrible. Melvin Gordon looks terrible. Jerry Jeudy and Sutton don't look good. The coaching looks terrible. It's just like everyone looks terrible at the same time, and it's turned this into a disaster. And I really thought Denver was going to be awesome this year, and they could still figure it out offensively a little bit because, like I said, the defense is awesome this year. So if you figure out a little bit on offense, you could become a respectable team. But I'm not counting on it. So my answer is going to have to be the Denver Broncos.
Oh, man. You guys took all my answers, I feel like. I've been thinking about the question, too. And I was like, yeah, the Vikings, definitely are surprising. Like, with the Packers, it's like, yeah, they really were counting on their defense, which is just like not really showing up this year, and their run game, and I guess Romeo Doubs and Alan Lazard, who came in a little banged up, and Christian Watson who's in and out of the lineup, and they're not who we thought they were. I guess. I was thinking, I was going through the NFC South, they're all that division just, I don't know. The Buccaneers are a surprise to me, I guess. Between the Buccaneers and the Raiders, they're both they're just doing not as well as I thought they were. Buccaneers especially, with Brady wanting to bring it back one more year. I was thinking he had to be motivated. We know who he is. We know he's not going to run. We know he should be accurate. But with he had Evans. Godwin fully healthy, which he was supposed to be around week 1, but that never happened. Fournette, I guess. Actually, I kind of want to bring it up to the next question with this question. But I thought, and that top line defense, the Buccaneers would be playing a lot better. But I think here they are. I think they're 3-3 right now.
Yeah,
and I don't know what's going on with that. I mean, the whole division stinks. The NFC South is a Super Bowl winner is not coming out of that division.
But the Bucs are going to win the division by default.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking that in my brain before I started talking. I was just like, yeah, just like they're just gonna end up with it. Remember that some years back, I think the Rams and the Seahawks were playing with each other with losing records, trying to get into the playoffs, and they got in with a losing record.
And Seattle won, and then they won a playoff game. They beat the Saints at home.
Yeah,
Marshawn
Sean
Lynch game
Alexander back then, and the immortal Matt Hasselbeck, so brother of Tim Hasselbeck, our ex-backup Giant quarterback.
Damn. So, V, start us off with the player then. Since we took all your answers, start us off. Who's the biggest NFL surprise player?
Leonard Fournette. Who knew he was going to run this well? I thought he was going to fall apart.
Yo, I'm not gonna lie. He was. I picked him third round in my fantasy.
Third round.
I was hyped.
I knew he was gonna get like the carries, like fantasy. Fantasy is fantasy. That's like different, but like I didn't know he was gonna be running this well. Barkley, I thought he was gonna I thought he was fully healthy, able to cut again. I knew he was gonna do better. I didn't know he was gonna be the number one running back. But Fournette surprised me at least in the offensive games. I'd say Geno, but like Seahawks just had a bad game. This was just like.
I say something for the rest of us. Damn, you should stay free of the ground.
All y'all answers now.
Calm down. All right. Let me. I'll say mine. And Broncos country. Russ died. All right. He is terrible. He is horrible. I hate him. I drafted him and I hate him. All right. I was also a big fan. I was also rooting for him. I wanted Russ to cook. Forget about Emerald. Forget about Gordon Ramsay. Russ was my cook. I wanted Russ to cook, and I picked him in my team. I reached. I didn't even need him at the time, but I reached. And I reached for no reason because Nathaniel Hackett has killed this man, has killed his career for, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe they'll bring it back, next year or something. But right now, he sucks. And he can't even see guys who are wide open directly in front of him. He cannot. So Russell Wilson, by far, is my biggest surprise. I hate him. If I see him in Whole Foods, it's on site.
To piggyback on that, I saw a good meme today. It was just like, this is Russell Wilson when he sees an open receiver. He just looks,
Will Smith
looks at him, just looks away immediately.
Yeah, man. Now, speaking of Russell Wilson, because he is a surprise, let's talk about the quarterback that replaced him. You kind of named him already, but I'm still going to name him. Geno Smith, to me, is the most surprising player in the NFL. Because, look, if you just take the numbers and you take the name away, 3-3, 6 weeks in, 1,500 yards passing, 74% completion, 9 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. And you said Russell Wilson had those numbers for the Seahawks, you'd be like, hey, man, Russ cooking. What's going on with their defense? That's why they 3-3. You would be they ain't got no running game. Rashard Penny always get hurt. You be saying all this other stuff. But Geno is putting up these numbers. And you're like, Geno? What? Like when I realized that they traded Russell Wilson, I was like, what the heck is wrong with them? Like, why would they do this? And they didn't even draft a quarterback. They're really going to go with Andrew Luck and Geno Smith in the preseason when the Cowboys played them. And I was laughing at their quarterback play. I'm like, they got 2 rookie tackles. They're freaking done. They're going to get the first pick next year. They must want CJ Stroud, right? Geno stepped in. And Geno stepped up, man. I can't say anything. I can't possibly pick another player. There was a player that's not doing well, that's not Russell Wilson, that I wanted to say, but I'll wait, and I don't want to steal my guy Nick Fry's thunder, right? But Geno is my surprise player of the year so far.
So I'm not saying this guy is my answer, but do you know who leads the league in every single advanced statistic as a quarterback? And it's not Geno. It is Bailey Zappi.
Oh, what
this guy! I'm just gonna. This is not my guy, though. I just want to bring that up. But
He's
this guy,
good.
I think, and you can call me crazy, I think he should definitely start over Mac Jones when he comes back. I don't think Mac Jones is good at all, and I think that they may have struck some gold with this guy. But
Wow.
that is not my answer. My answer was going to be Geno Smith, so I'm scrambling here, but I do have someone else in mind, and I just have to find his name because I can't think of it off the top of my head. Oh, it's another Patriot. It is Stevenson. He's an absolute unit. He is dominant. I feel like I didn't even know who he was at the beginning of the year. So the fact now that he is like, I don't know, how good is he in fantasy running back this year? Got to be in the top 10, right? Not yet, actually. He's right outside the 10, but he also didn't really play the first 2 games. So, like, this guy's absolutely dominating and taking names, and he just looks like a beast running the ball, and that came out of nowhere to me. But you know what, though? Because you stole my answer, I feel like I could say someone else. I think that, and this is that because I can't say it's a surprise. I didn't know who he was. It's not like I was down on him and then he turned into. I had no idea who he was. Yeah. But someone I was down on who actually ended up having a great season, I think it's Josh Jacobs. As bad as the Raiders have been, I feel like they got unlucky though. Like they're a 1-4, but they could easily be 4-1.
This is crazy.
Like Josh Jacobs has been killing it.
It's the Josh McDaniels effect. What a trash head coach. Sorry.
Yeah.
So now that's my answer, Josh Jacobs.
I do want to tell you guys, Josh Jacobs. I do want to tell you guys what I was going to say originally until like I really started thinking about Geno. A player that I'm really disappointed in is Kyle freaking Pitts, just for fantasy reasons, man. Kyle Pitts has 3 games with 19 yards receiving. What is up with him in the number 19?
It's not him, though. It's not him. It's Arthur Smith.
It's definitely the system. It's definitely the system.
Tight ends in general are very down this year.
They are. Football, actually, offense is down across the board this year.
Yeah,
I am gutted in fantasy. Now, fellas, at this point of the show, let's turn it over to our guy Nick Fry for some trivia.
All right, let's do it. We're back for some trivia. We haven't done this in about 6 months.
Is there a theme song or?
No, that'd be cool though, right?
It would have been, yeah.
Anyway,
that'd be really cool, like a Jeopardy song or something.
I like that.
So, all right, we got 3 questions on the list, I guess, tonight. 2 of them are the NBA questions. I'll start with those, and then we're going to end with a question that is multi-sport.
So we ringside, we sidelines, all the sides.
First question, it makes sense. I mean, all these answers make sense when you think about it. But our first question is, and I don't know how you want to do like who's going to go first and all that, but first question is, who is the all-time NBA leader for dunks in a career?
For dunks in a career?
Wait, is this so this is one answer. It's not like all-time. Oh. I have an answer.
I guess if you have it, go for it.
All right. Who is Shaquille O'Neal?
So that is incorrect, but he is number 2.
I figured that wasn't the answer because then it wouldn't be trivia. It's too obvious. I'm gonna go with big man Dawkins.
Negative.
Negative.
Not on my top 13.
Oh, wow. Wow.
And one hint that I'll give, it's not really a hint. I'll tell
you. Whoa, wait till V goes. You can't be giving out his
right. I'll say it's not a hint. It's not a hint at all. But I was just going to say the number of dunks he had. It's not going to help.
Oh.
So I'll wait till he answers. I'll wait till he answers, then I'll say it just to maintain consistency.
Let's say we're going to go with a guy that averaged over the regulation time for his career, and Wilt Chamberlain.
No, Wilt is also not on the top 13. That is surprising. I guess he didn't really dunk. I never watched the highlights of the 100-point game or anything like that, but the amount of dunks is 2,950 in his career. So 2,950 times he dunked the ball.
That's a lot of dunks, man. Who was out there dunking like this instead of Shaq?
So Shaq is number
Maybe that-
2.
that- what's that?
Shaq's number was 26-26. So Shaq
Yeah,
has
300 more
300 less.
dunks than Shaq.
Um,
These must have been some corny dunks.
all right. My next guess is, he played 20 years. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Also not on the top 13.
Damn.
Okay. So this is a very flawed thing that I just read. And this might narrow down the answers, but I'm not going to say the flaw until the other two answer.
Okay.
And then it will narrow it down significantly.
I have a third guess.
Because I didn't realize that this question is completely flawed, and the answer is probably Will Chamberlain, but I don't know that for sure. But let's just continue, and then we'll talk.
All right. Yeah, well, they probably wasn't keeping stats on dunks.
Yeah, I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you when they started, though.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So,
all right,
man. See, I don't want to say Sean Kemp because his career wasn't long enough.
Yeah.
I don't want to say a small forward.
I know the answer.
Or a wing player. Dang.
He knows the answer.
Oh, we got to get to him.
I'm conceding. Next guess.
Damn.
I need to know this answer.
All right, V, are you going, or should I just say the answer?
Before you answer, I do want to say the flaw, even if you do know it. After he gives his answer, or if it's correct or incorrect, I'd like to say it.
Okay.
Jeez. Say in a minute. Patrick Ewing. Why not?
Negative. Now, the flaw is they did not keep the statistic until 1996, meaning Shaq was in the league 4 years, so he may have even had more than this guy.
That makes more sense now.
But since I guess we'll reword the question. Since 1996, who has the most dunks in the NBA?
Dwight Howard.
Dwight Howard is the answer.
Yeah, 96.
He actually was going to be my second guess, but then
who was your guess?
Dwight Howard.
Oh, Dwight Howard.
It is Dwight.
Yeah. Wow, good guess. Good guess.
Him and Nate Robinson going head to head at all those All-Star games.
A reference to top five was
myself that I didn't think of Dwight.
For reference, top five was Dwight, Shaq, DeAndre Jordan, LeBron, and Tyson Chandler.
I would not have gotten Tyson Chandler, but I think I could have got the other four.
Our next question, I think, is definitely easier, but I think there is one hard answer in here. There's we're looking for 5 people. Name me the top 5 scorers in the 2005/2006 NBA season. Who averaged the most points per game that season?
I'll start.
5 guys.
Did AI average 33 that season?
Yes, AI is number 2.
AI is number 2.
Number 1, Kobe Bryant.
Kobe averaged 35 that year?
Yep, Kobe averaged 35.
Did T-Mac average over 30 that year?
No. I'm trying to find him on this. I don't see. He must have got hurt that year.
I think I got somebody on the top 5 that year.
Tim Duncan there?
No Duncan. Don't see him
Dirk
actually.
Nowitzki.
Dirk was number 7.
It was 7. All right, so we got AI. I know
you got 3. You got 3 answers remaining. 2 of them are very easy, and I think one is the hard one.
I know
Carmelo
Kobe and
Anthony.
AI was up there. Vince Carter.
No Melo, no Vince Carter. They're all in the top 10, these people, but they were not top 5.
Garnett?
Who was getting buckets?
No Garnett.
Tony Parker?
Buckets in 05.
No Tony Parker. All these guys are high up on the list, but none of them are in these top 5. These are 2 easy answers, 2 studs.
Ray Allen.
No. He was number 10 exactly.
But Paul Pierce was there, though. Paul Pierce?
Pierce was 6.
Jeez.
I'm
stuck after T-Mac wasn't on there. He must have got injured that year.
I think you're thinking too specific. You got to think like,
outside.
Like
LeBron James.
LeBron is one of them.
Oh, that's right. LeBron was in Dwayne Wade.
Dwayne Wade is one of them. Now we're looking for the hard one. I think the hard one, but I guess it is if you haven't got
Gilbert Arenas.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, Gilly.
It was about to get that cover too, and then he got injured, and the whole career unraveled after that.
He did.
That was a good answer. I thought we might go a while there.
No, I'm out here.
Nice.
You know, I got the snipe.
What's scary? That question, I was like, he's either gonna know this immediately, thinking you, James. He's either gonna know this immediately, or it's gonna be like we're gonna go for a while. So I'm happy that didn't happen. Now, the last question. There are 11 teams, and I'll give you the breakout of the teams. So we have 6 teams in the NBA who have never made the NBA Finals. We have 4 teams in the NFL who have never made the Super Bowl. And we have 1 team in Major League Baseball who has never made the World Series. Not won it, made it.
Made it.
So let's start with the NBA. We have 6 teams who have never made the finals. Who are they?
We got the Charlotte Hornets.
Magic.
Oh, Magic lost to Dwight.
Yeah, they got it with Shaq. They were there with Shaq.
And
We got
yeah.
were they with Shaq?
Oh, and Dwight Howard. Well, they both.
When did Shaq get there? I didn't know.
They lost to Akeem. They lost to
Shaq lost to Hakeem.
Oh, in 94 or 95. I don't know which one.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We got the Atlanta Hawks.
They apparently have made it.
Yeah, no, they won. They won
back,
in
way
70s.
back in.
Yeah,
They
70s.
did make it way
The-
back. Okay.
The Clippers?
Clippers are number 2.
The Clippers did not make it, so we got
Yeah,
got
the
the
Hornets
Charlotte Hornets,
and
the LA Clippers,
The
the
Timberwolves.
Minnesota is 3.
Minnesota Timberwolves never made it. We got the Memphis Grizzlies never made it.
That's correct. So you have how many right now? You have the Clippers,
4.
you have the Hornets, you have the Wolves, and the Grizz.
And the Grizzlies.
2
We got
more.
2
One of
more.
them is easy, and one of them is hard.
We got the Brooklyn Nets. Or
They have.
the Jersey Nets.
Yeah, Kid was there 2 years in a row.
Oh yeah, what am I talking about? Jason Kidd. Wow.
They are one of the
Disrespect
5
to Jason
teams who have
Kidd.
been there and never won.
Disrespect to Jason Kidd. I just disrespected Jason Kidd. Dang, that's crazy.
Kings.
The Kings used to be royalty.
Yeah, they
Wait,
made it.
So no, they've been there. They used to be royalty.
I was about to say.
I just try to kind of.
So one of them is easy. You need to start thinking like who's existing.
Does the Thunder count?
They made it as a Thunder.
Yeah, they made it.
Oh,
as
they
a
did.
Supersonics,
KD,
and they made it as
KD.
a-
That is kind of what I'm talking about. Think like that.
Oh, the Sonics.
No.
Well, the Sonics made it against. They lost to the Bulls. But,
Yeah.
I think what I'm
Like
talking
that.
about.
What team? Like aren't the Hornets? The Hornets are the Pelicans. The Pelicans.
Pelicans are number
Nah,
5,
the
and then there is
Pelicans
one
never
more.
made it. That's
There's
number
one more. I
5.
did not know this, and the only reason I know this, and this will not give you a hint, is because I am on this team in 2K, and every time I play a game, the announcers talk about how they need to get to the final because they've never been there before,
Oh,
and that's what made me think of this question.
The Denver Nuggets.
Yeah.
Are you for real?
Yeah, where'd you pull that from?
he said, "Yeah, like disappointed."
Yeah, like how did you know that?
I don't know.
No, that's interesting. I'm surprised the Nuggets. That's actually a little known. I
Surprise.
didn't realize that they've never been there. Wow. Good. Now let's unpack these NFL
Let's
teams.
go to
that never
football.
been there.
There's 4, but one of them is like if you said it and if you never got it, I would still give you guys credit because it's kind of BS. So there's 4, but I'm only looking for 3 answers.
The Lions.
Made the Super Bowl.
The Lions are 1. Never make the Super Bowl. Not win it, make it.
They never
Yeah.
made it. The Jacksonville
Lions-
Jaguars never made it.
The Jags are 2.
Texans?
Lions and Jags. Texans are 3. So the
Yeah,
last one is
Texans
B. The
never
last
made
one's BS.
Is it the Cleveland Browns because they moved?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is BS.
Because they made
that
it
was
before.
amazing.
Because technically
Yeah.
the Ravens are the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah.
So this Cleveland Browns never made it.
Right.
Mm.
And lastly, who was the only team in the history of baseball to never make the World Series? There's only one team.
You're gonna have to give me like a geographical location. I can't even think of teams.
I feel like if you name
The
Pretty
Colorado
much.
Rockies.
07 lost to the Red Sox.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I can pretty much every team I can give you that.
Cleveland Indians.
2016 lost to the Cubs.
Yeah. I swear Albert
Also,
Bell
we call them the Guardians now.
Oh yeah.
Oh, no disrespect. No disrespect.
Guardians.
I remember they did go for the Spiders. They were called that like 100 years ago. It was a really nice looking logo.
The what? No. Every the Sox all made it. The Cubs made it.
Both New York teams made it. The Phillies won it and made it.
Rangers?
Each other.
The Texas Rangers made it in 2010 and lost to the Giants. So I guess I just told you. I guess I just told you about the Giants.
Pull up the list of teams. Like, bro, I don't even know the list of teams.
I'm trying to get it, man. The Milwaukee Brewers.
So they have made it. I don't know when, though. I can't tell you off the top of my head.
The Mariners?
That's it.
Wow. The Mariners never made it?
Seattle Mariners and the Indians.
Wow.
Thinking like these. Okay, they played this then. They played this then.
The Brewers have only made one World Series. They lost in 1982. And what's interesting is that it's the Mariners do hold the record for most wins in a season with 116 in 2000.
I remember they were on fire.
People don't think about that because they just got shellacked by the Yankees in the playoffs.
Yep.
They had Randy Johnson, right? Back when they won.
Yeah, Johnson, a young A-Rod.
That's actually the 2001 Mariners are the first year they got rid of A-Rod and Randy Johnson and Ken Griffey Jr.
Dang, and then they won.
And then they won 116 games.
Wow.
Yo,
that was Ichiro's rookie year.
How many did they get?
That's definitely when I stopped watching baseball. When Ken Griffey was no longer on the Mariners, I was no longer watching baseball.
Well, hey, Will is loyal to his guys. I mean, they trade Barkley. He out here flying to Phoenix.
That's how it was growing up.
Yeah, I hear it.
You done with Griffey? I'm done with the league.
You didn't even switch to the Reds.
Imagine, you win 91 games, you get rid of Randy Johnson, A-Rod, and Griffey, and you win 25 more games the next year.
That's impressive. And then not even make the World Series.
Lost in the championship series to the Yanks in 5. That's it for this episode of Nick Fry.
A-Rod was on that Yankees team, wasn't he?
No. He went to Texas for 3 years.
And then came over to Texas first. Wow. Well, listen, ladies and gentlemen, it's been another fun episode of the Side to Side Sportscast, and we back, baby. So it's been exciting. We just want to shout out to my man V and our guy Nick Fry, Star Wars finest. And let's do our jet thing for Mr. Wudi right now. Let's hope that plane keeps on flying.
Fine.
The reason why I can say that is because you in the AFC, I'm in the NFC, and ain't no need for me to hate on you. And we not going to talk about them boys. We just going to watch how the season play out because I don't want to talk about it. But hey, ladies and gentlemen, we want you to come on the Sportscast. Call it how you see it. Call it how you saw it. Tell us what you think about what's going on in the sports world today. We want to hear what you got to say. But until then, we out.